Annyeonghaseyo. This is Martyn reporting to you live from Soonchunhyang University in Sinchon, South Korea. And as always, this report is brought to you by a generous scholarship from the Benjamin A. Gilman International Foundation. Ding! So, this is week number 12. And this week, I've got a couple of topics I'd like to discuss. First of all, the idea of coming here to practice the Korean language, to learn more of it. As I've said in past weeks, our language classes are not as advanced as I thought they would be. So that means I've been trying to find other avenues to learn at least a little bit more Korean. Your language exchanges can be a way to do that. What I try to do sometimes is my language partner will be practicing their English, but I'll ask them questions in Korean and maybe make a comment in Korean. But a lot of times it's just purely English because my Korean is not good enough to have a full big conversation. And also I had thought that going out, traveling a bit to other cities, and going to visit different places might give me an opportunity to practice some just colloquial Korean with locals, like asking for directions, ordering things in a restaurant, and whatnot. But it really depends on where you go. If you want to practice your Korean, then there's some places where it's not as good to do that, because people will see that you're foreign and just instantly start speaking English to you, even if you speak Korean to them. Generally, the closer you get to a major city, specifically in this case Seoul, the more people there will be that speak English and assume that you want them to speak English to you. Out towards Sinchon, there are less people that speak English because we're out in the countryside. So this can be a better place to practice speaking Korean with just normal Korean people. Especially if you go to a restaurant, if you want to practice ordering food and such, it's a great place to do that. And they're always impressed that you can speak at least a little bit of their language. It makes things easier for everybody. Even if you go to Cheonan, there will be a larger number of people who speak English, but less so than if you went all the way to Seoul. So it depends on how badly you want to practice your Korean. And sometimes if you just keep speaking in Korean, eventually they get the idea, oh, they speak Korean well enough, I can just speak my native language. Whereas on the other hand, some of them are so good with English that they don't even sound Korean when they speak. They sound like they are American, or Korean American, I guess. So, taxis also can be a place to practice your Korean, especially if you're going on a longer taxi ride, like I did a couple weeks ago to go to Cheonan. And the driver decides to start a conversation with you, and it was a bit choppy, but I actually had about 20-minute conversation with a Korean taxi driver, mostly in Korean. It was definitely an interesting experience. Found out that his brother lives in Seattle, which is really not that far from where I live, considering. So that was interesting. So yeah, it can be hard to practice the Korean language when everybody tries to go out of their way to speak English for you. In the next segment, I'll be talking a little bit about a couple areas where English would be very prevalent, just because it could be useful to know where these areas are. You'll find out why in that segment. So stay tuned for part number 2 of the Week 12 video blog update from my Gilman International Scholarship follow-on project.